All right, welcome everyone to the 12th in the series of Empires and Puzzles books interviews. I am Jeff, JekylandHyde in the game, and Empires and Puzzles books everywhere else. And as always, today for our interview, we have a special guest, and that special guest is... That's right, the Budman69 always starts his videos. Always starts his videos with a cheer. So cheers to you, Budman. So if you want to go ahead and give us an introduction of who you are. Why don't you start with your player name, the history behind that.
All right. Yeah, the Budman69 came from because I used to work for a Silver Eagle, which is an Anheuser-Busch company, for about 15 years. So I was always dealing with Bud Light and Budweiser and the Budman, like, hey Bud Light, hey Budweiser was always the name that they kind of threw at me. So I was always considered the Budman. And then 69 just being my favorite number. That's why, and so I got the flavor saver going on.
There you go. You do know that 77 is better than 69 because you get 8 more.
That?
You get 8 more.
Oh. Can't beat that.
So it does seem like we have a little bit of a delay on the internet connection. I don't know if that's on my end or your end. Okay, so let's jump in and talk about your empires and puzzling. So how long have you been playing?
I started December, like mid-December 2017. It's about 3.5 years now. So okay. I think I started within the first year whenever it came out.
All right, excellent. Did you start out free to play, cheap to play, or did you just jump right in with some money?
No, I was actually free to play for a while, and then I slowly went to cheap to play. And then I think I might have got a season 1 hero or something like that. But whenever I actually went in with a little bit of cheap to play money and did like a 30 pool, my very first hero that I maxed was Guinevere. And she was a beastly of a tank back then. And she was like the go-to. So once I got Gwen after that, I was like, yeah, I kind of like putting money in and getting the good heroes.
Yeah, the slippery slope. They know exactly how to suck us in.
No, yeah, and it worked.
Yep. So now I think one of the interesting things about our conversation today is your take on the whole 3-2 versus mono. So we have a lot of top players that have a strong preference for 3-2. I'm in probably the minority of the top players that really still prefer mono. And I do have a video up explaining why I prefer mono and a video explaining why you should not mono. So I like mono. I don't necessarily recommend that you do it unless you're willing to spend a ton of money on troops. So, but you're not on either side of this debate. You went your own way. Let's talk a little bit about what's your general philosophy on your raid and war attack teams.
Yeah, I like to, mostly on my raid team, I use the same team, the team that we did in the video that I did with you. I got the same purple mono team that I could take against any formation and any kind of players or enemies that are lined up. But my war style is strictly 4-1, and I like the 1 being the healer and the 4 being the attackers. So that way, if I it's kind of like mono, how I play my board, because I want my main colors to match up and go off. But if I do not get those colors, I like the heal to kind of give me an extra 500 HP or whatever to kind of make it last until I get those tiles.
So you have an off-color Band-Aid.
Yes, just in case the tiles don't fall in my main color.
Yeah, I had an alliance mate in my previous alliance who was a strong advocate for the 4-1, and it is not something that I have tried too often. So let's go in ahead and just jump in and start talking about your war team. So I have your first team up here, which the 1 is Costume Regard, everybody's favorite except mine, and then then it's your 4 fire team. So we got Costume Aslar, yep, Black Knight, Lady Loki, and Ruben. So let's talk about how you're utilizing this team.
How I like to set that one up with as far as my troops go is I like the Costume Aslar having my 29 troop, because with the 29 troop you get that 15% mana plus you get the costume bonus with the 5% mana, which gives you the 20, which makes him, being a slow hero, he still goes off in 10 tiles, so he's going off technically as an average hero. Then I got Black Knight for kind of my survivability against like all the Frigs and Odins is what I like to take that team against, all the multi-hitters. And then got Lady Loki that is basically another cleanser just in case my regard don't get off, and she actually throws everything back. And then Ruben, a lot of people talk down on Ruben, but I like how he gives the minions for the rest of my res, and he's still a solid hit 3 with the same damage, which Aslar does the same thing in costume, and well, Lady Loki does it to everybody. But yep. And then after once I get those 4 going, that usually is enough to kill off a side. And if it doesn't kill off the side, the fire damage from Aslar usually kills off the side. And then I have the little bit of room to ghost on the side to either get up the hill from regard or get my reds going a second time. And usually if I fire up everybody twice, that kills off the whole team. So my aspect of that one is stay alive with Black Knight from the Frigs and Odins and your multi-hitters, and then also be able to kill off a side to only have to worry about 2, but still having some room to ghost tiles and have their specials not so much come back at me. I can get my heal back from regard or a cleanse or anything I might need.
Sure. So I want to bug you a little bit about fully leveling Ruben and giving him some emblems, because he is not a well-received hero, and you are obviously pay to play. And I would imagine that you had a variety of fires that you could have chosen from at the time you got Ruben. So what was the impetus? What provoked you to go ahead and take him all the way?
The main thing that I liked about him is how I like the hit 3 style, and I also like, because my main style is 4-1. Very rarely I go mono, but that one's still not a bad one. But usually he would be on my main color team, so he also gives that extra little minion boost, which is basically like health above your health bar. So even if everybody has full health, they're still getting bonus health with the minions. And the minions always take the damage first and all that. So him being a minion creator and going on a red team.
All right, great. All right, so let's talk about your second war team, which happens to also be a 4 times fire team with another dark healer of sorts. So you have Bara working as the minion generator. And then your 4 fires, I'm seeing Tyr, Marjana without the costume, Altiris, and Red Hood.
Yes, that team is definitely my survivability team. So I definitely do not want to go against Bear on that team. Bears are a no-no. But I do prefer taking on a Freya tank with that one because of my Bear. But the point of that synergy there is to have the Red Hood giving the minion with a little bit of health boost. But also, as I have that minion, I'm regenerating health because it's a healing minion. Mm-hmm. And then also Bear with her 300 HP minion. So combined, they give me about 500 or 600 HP. And then if I fire Bear first before her, I'll have more of a constant healing on my actual hero's health. Then also I got my hit 3 from Asterius, which does even damage across the board. And he does a little bit of fire damage plus the negative 10% defense down. And then I got Tyr from my sniper action. The same with Marjana. I do not have her costume, but she does the snipe happy thing as well. The only bad thing there is that the fires don't stack, which I've never understood because the defense stacks every time, but the fire portion doesn't. And if I was to add Aslar to that team, Aslar would override his stuff.
Right.
So none of the 3 go together.
Yeah, I think sometimes people don't realize that Altiris has that, or Asteris, I keep saying that wrong. Asteris has that little bit of poison damage, which includes a defense down, and that does stack with regular defense down and elemental defense down. So, and you have Tyr there. He's one of my favorites. Has he saved your butt at the end of some fights?
Oh, yeah. More so than Albie. Albie's been like the regenerator in the beginning years where he brought everybody back and survived and everything, but I've had it come down to Tyr and me against 3 heroes, against 2 heroes multiple times. Yeah,
I actually just this last Valhalla, I just pulled a second Tyr, and I'm actually contemplating putting them on a team together just because one of them has pulled me out so many times. I can't imagine what would happen with 2. You know, put them at opposite ends on wings so that they can't be taken out by like hit 3s. Right. But yeah, Tyr
I
is
actually pulled a second one as well this past time.
Yeah, so very tempting to feed a second one. And I'm not a big fan of feeding duplicate 5s, but and you have Barra here and Red Hood, who are sorely lacking from my roster. And I actually got the second tier because I was chasing Barra to no luck.
Yeah, the bear is one of my favorite ones. It's probably my favorite hero. But with that minion having so much health, and then you're getting that little damage from the minions, and then also with that poison, and then they can't make minions on top of that, she's just multifunctional for sure.
Now your next team here that I have up has one of my latest favorite hero, and that is Lepiota. It's your 4x dark plus Ariel on the ice. So I almost don't even see anybody else on the team as soon as I seen Lepiota. She is so fun, and I've used her in such creative ways. So I'm grateful for that. For those that aren't familiar with Lepiota, why don't you talk a little bit about what she actually does?
Yeah, she is actually quite amazing. I've been using her a lot here lately since I've gotten her and maxed her. But she basically gives you a ghosting option or takes somebody out of the equation. If you got somebody about to fire that could wipe your whole team, you could knock them out. If you got 3 tiles on the corner, you could take out that corner hero and then make it where those 3 tiles ghost. It's just game changing. And on top of that, I only got her at 7 emblems, but over the 4 turns, each turn she does like 104 damage while they're ghosted. Mm-hmm. So they're taking in damage. They can't gain mana, can't gain health, can't do anything. Gives you a ghosting room, and they're still taking damage.
Yeah, she's fantastic. I just find her so creative, and like you said, I've been in those situations where I'm getting in trouble, and I just make the trouble disappear for 4 turns, and 4 turns is light years to change the board. Excuse me. So that you have another total badass hero, and that's Sartana costume. She's vicious. Seashat, who I have and I've never maxed because I just keep passing her by because I get somebody cool like Lepiota. And then Yursina, who is, the dark version of Mitsuko with the reflect and just killing everybody. So do you want to talk about?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, you want to talk about your troop setup on this one a bit? I see you got 2 level 29s there.
Yeah, the Ursina I got there for just because she needs at least the 23 mana troop, so I got her there to go off in 9 tiles. And then depending on who I want to go off first is where I put the secondary 29 troop, because the 29 troop on a fast hero makes it where it's 7 tiles instead of 8, which can come more in handy than you think, because you normally get your 3 tiles of 9, but all you got to do is get 1 bomb attack and 1 match 3, and then they're ready to fire it up. So if I need like let's say a Black Knight or something of that sort where I need to dispel it, I want to put my C shot on there to go ahead and get her fired up first, just in case I don't get a board with tiles. But otherwise, I like to put it on Lepiota because I like having that option to ghost in or option of taking somebody out. It's only when I need a dispel, even if there's a Sif or something going on like that, something where I need a dispel 3. That's when I would put the 29 troop on her. Otherwise, it's going on Lepiota for the next one.
Sure. And Ariel needs no introduction. She's one of the best healers in the game between the monster healing and the mana generation. She's just stellar. C-Shot, I every time I face a team that I use my fire team with Mitsuko against Finley, I get so frustrated because I forget about C-Shot removing the buff. And it's like, I'm ready to watch Finley execute himself, and suddenly like he just damages himself. I'm like, what? I'm like C-Shot every time, like, and then I swear I swear I'll be maxing her next, and then I just don't. So excellent team there. And then I find this interesting because we went through 2 predominantly fire teams, and now we're on your second predominantly dark team. So it's not like you're building a color for each one. You're concentrating on the particular heroes you seem to enjoy playing together. So this next team is another dark with Boltusk, Cage Barado, Dr. Moreau, Maligna, and Jabberwock. And Maligna is sort of like Ruben. He not totally well received by the community, but you got her maxed there with some emblems.
Yes, and I found her more important than a lot of the other heroes that I got, and a lot of people diss her for whatever reason. I have no idea. But the thing I like the most is her elemental link with the mana deal, because I do go 4/1, so she's on my purple team. But if I knock out a Bara or a Freya, I get my mana drained where I don't have no specials, but then one turn later I got the specials right back. So it's like the Bara thing never even happened.
Yep.
And that comes strictly in handy instead of trying to find one more tile, because that usually turns into 3 tiles that I end up needing. So she is excellent, and she also does the same thing with the hit 3 and the hit 3 for the same damage. But I think the thing that knocks her down is that it's kind of like a gamble, people say, because obviously the best one is the attack down and the defense down. But to me, defense down is so important, and you could have a regular defense down or a regular attack down. So you got 66% chance of getting some kind of defense down, which helps out. So I always fire her up first, followed by Dr. Maru. And then I got a sniper if I want to snipe out somebody with cage, and a dispeller if I need to get rid of a Black Knight, or I keep on forgetting his name, the blue guy from the Christmas series. I didn't receive him.
Krampus.
There you go.
Yeah.
I keep on wanting to say Frost. Well, yeah, Krampus, get rid of him too, and then Jabberwocky hitting the outskirts. But she needs the level 23 mana troop as well. So I got the 29 on her, and then I usually have it on Dr. Maru with the 29 troop, because he does the hit 3 right after her in case that defense down. And then I got the 11 on Cage, so he can go off in 6 tiles. And then Jabberwock is just Jabberwock. I love Jabberwock. Yeah, he's just so damaging. And I have it with my ninja.
Yep.
And then also with the Voltusk, I have it on the more healing side, because, like I said, he's not there for any kind of tile damage or anything like that. So I just want the extra little juice he gives for the heal if I need it.
Sure. And the boost, he gives that attack boost.
Yeah. The attack boost is a little less, but like I said, I'm bringing him in for healing purposes. The attack boost, it's smaller, but it's still attack boost nonetheless.
All right, so now we're up to your holy attack team, which we got Bae Young on there, who is also, he's probably a bit more popular than Malekna and Ruben, but still not somebody that has gotten gold stars everywhere. But White Rabbit, important defense down. You got Sif and Uraeus and Regard costume.
No, yes, all right. Yeah, that team there, I have the Sif on, and Uraeus. The Uraeus, I always put the 29 troop on, because he's the one that needs because he's average and everything like that. But the fun fact about Sif that I don't think too many people notice about is her emblem path on the mana node A. She has that 2% mana node. So instead of needing a 23 mana troop, you only need a 17. Mm-hmm. And in my case, I got 2 level 17 troops, because I have so many average yellows. Right. But having her, that'll make her go off in 9 tiles, even though technically she needs a 23. That little bitty mana node on level 8 makes it where you have a 17, which is a lot more easier to get than a 23 or a 29 troop. So both of them are able to go off in 9 tiles, even though they're average heroes. And then White Rabbit being an even hit 3 to all, giving the middle defense down, that is non-dispellable too, which is nice. And then Bae Young with his high percentage, I can't remember what it is, like 75 or 80 miss percentage. But every time I hit him with somebody, if they're a hit 1, they miss every time. If they're a hit 3, all 3 can miss too.
Right, nice.
He's definitely true to his card.
So let me ask this, and I have a general idea where the logic comes in, because I know I put up a video about this, but I noticed a bunch of your heroes, you stopped emblems at 7. You want to talk a little bit about why that can be a good stopping point?
Yeah, the reason why I do it, I don't know if it's the main reason everyone does it, but to go take you to 70 or take you to 7 emblems is, I think, first 65, then you got 50-50, then 65, then 50-50, and what have you. But once you get to that 8th node is whenever it goes to 125. And then the 9th node is like 50, and then the 10th is 125 again. So you got both of those getting where you need a lot of emblems for them. But also, if you stop at 7, you still got 3 of the 5 for their whatever, their ranger class, rogue class. You got 3 of the 5 for their class.
Exactly. And that's where I was. I for a long time I was just stopping everybody at 7 so that I was building my army. And now that I have an idea of the heroes I prefer, they're the ones that I'm investing in to jump past that. And then obviously the ones that are on the defense team, you end up beefing up a little bit more. But I don't think I think too many players at times put pressure on themselves that they don't want to attack unless they have all these emblems, and you don't necessarily need them since we have the power to stack colors. Even a 2-3 or any level of stacking is going to give you extra power that you're not going to have that you don't have to have from the emblems. So kudos to you for stopping at 7 on some of these.
Yeah, and all those classes come in handy too. Even though they're not maxed out 5 for 5, they still do hit. They still do what they're supposed to do, which is awesome.
Yeah, I had one of my first big alliances. I had an alliance mate that put every hero on emblem path 1 at least, just so they had at least one talent. It's at least one chance that any hero they pull would dodge or revive or jinx or whatever that the talent happens to be.
Yeah, that's what I was doing like a year ago on 3-star tournaments. I had everybody at 1, and even like Rudolph, he would revive even though he had that one little node on him.
One node matters.
Now that I got all my teams to like 7 on my war attack teams, now I'm actually putting emblems on 3 stars, and I got them starting to go to 20 and everything like that. So as you get extras, you put them on all over the place.
All right, so now your last team here. I love how we're looking at your teams, and it's like the heroes that I don't have. I want to play with your teams. So your last one here, you got Professor Lindenbrock, who I do not have, and Scotty, who is one of 2 season 3s that I'm missing. Barra and Scotty, you got both of them. But this team, you got Finley, Scotty, Master Lepus, who I also don't have. Wow, this whole team is like people I don't have. And then Krill Costume. I do have Finley and Krill Costume, but...
Yeah, you want to hear a fun fact first?
Sure.
I got this Scotty here at emblem 9. I got a second Scotty at emblem 7. And yesterday or the day before, I pulled a third Scotty. So I might go ahead and max that one. Scotty, because Scotty is so awesome in that one. Especially with all these Bear and Preyas out there, Scotty is amazing. But this team here actually is my newest team, because this team used to be my boomer bust team, and I was mono blue this whole time. So I think instead of Professor, can't remember who I had. I think I had another sniper, another hit 3. I think I might have had Frida in there or something. But I went ahead and made this one 4-1 also. This one kind of has a double heal aspect, but this team here, I generally like to go up against like a Freya or a Barra tank. And I got the defensive down on the Carol portion to make it, if I do go against Freya, her defense down goes to defense, or her defense up goes to defense down, I'm sorry. And that way Scotty could kill off her minions pretty easily. And then also I look for, usually you see the harder teams with the Frigg Odin kind of flanking on it. So Odin has a little portion where Finley goes in good against him and hits them all out afterwards. And then Scotty with a stack from killing the minions, and Master Leap is just his hard, especially his center hit. I'm not too fond of the ones that don't hit evenly, but he's one of the ones that I definitely can do with. I usually have him in the corner just because of that defense down after he does his hit, makes him kind of vulnerable.
Sure. Now, if I caught you there, you said you have Frida, but you're not using her on your ice team?
No, she's on my secondary ice team. I got 2 ice teams and I got 2 yellow teams. These teams set up here is technically for green tanks, but I don't see them too often. So usually I combine my 2 purple teams and then bring you a secondary blue or secondary yellow, depending if we're going against purple or red. But yeah, my blue team is one where I'm kind of lacking on troop wise, because I do got a level 28 crit. So I don't have 2 level 23 plus on as far as the mana troops go. So, and like I said, with my extra Scotty, I want Scotty having the level 23 mana troops, so she goes off in 9. So therefore, Frida would have to go off in 10 or Scotty off in 10, and I don't like comboing that.
Makes sense. All right.
And with all these team setups that we just walked through here, the costume Aslar, with that 29 troop is the only one that goes off in 10 tiles. I made everybody else with their mana nodes and whether they're average or fast or very fast, I made everybody go off in 9 except for Costa Mazlar. So that's kind of a little something also that might get underlooked, but that one extra tile comes definitely in handy.
Sure. Yeah. Very smart team building and troop building. And with Costume Aslar, as you, well, I was gonna say you didn't actually point out here. It was a video I was watching from your hits today from the raid tournament. You point out he needs to wait for that 50% down, 50% health left to hit harder. So it actually is okay if he fires a little later or he's a little slower to mana because you want them already to be somewhat beat up for him to fire anyway, because he'll do maximum damage.
That's usually a kill shot too. If they're under 50, it's usually a kill shot instantly. If they're above 50, sometimes the burn damage afterwards will get them either killed or almost dead.
Yeah, he's just a beast.
Yeah, I love him.
So you're in a full alliance, top 50. So you're in some competitive wars each week. What would do you know offhand like what your average points are in a war? Are you clearing 200 points every war, 150 points? Are you?
Yeah, that's what I go for. I go to from 4 to 6 kills is what I try to do. So that's 200, between 200, I guess 200, 250, and then 300 is 4, 5, and 6 kills average. Because everybody's usually around 50. But yeah, I try to take on the harder teams with my roster and my troops because they're pretty up there. So I don't want to take like the farm teams or the easier teams. I want to try to help the alliance take out the hard ones, and makes it where I don't usually go for 6 for 6 that often, but I usually, like you said, get 4 or 5 kills out of a deal. So I get 200 to 250.
Yep.
Which I think helps out overall in the team aspect.
Sure. Yeah. Another thing, speaking of war, that simple math, if people want to know if you're an asset or a detriment to your alliance, compare the points you take in. So it always shows you your total points, but look at how many you lost on defense. And realistically, if everyone in your alliance does more damage than they've received, you win. Like it's pretty much got to work.
Exactly how it works.
So, you have alliance mates sometimes that aren't the strongest and they beat themselves up that they're not getting the points on attack. But if you're preventing the loss of points on defense, it's just as good. Another place that we see this that people don't talk about is the weekly raid tournaments. They don't realize the defense points every day add up to almost an entire another day of fighting. It's actually a 6-day fight. It's just the 6th day is adding up 5 days worth of defensive points. So you can be killer on offense all week, but if your defense was in the toilet, you're not going to score very well at the end of the week.
Yeah, I've had that happen multiple times too, where I do good on offense and by the end of the tournament, maybe have 2 or 3 losses, but my defense went E the whole time and I'm top 5, top 10. You don't stand a chance top 1% at all.
Yep, it's some big points there. All right, so we're going to move on and talk about Titans. Now, I found this interesting. Before I saw your Titan teams, you had described them to me as being a lower tier Titan team. And I think based on some of our mutual viewers, you might be underestimating how low tier is. So, I mean, your first team, I'm looking, I see Mickey right there. And if you got Mickey, you're already ahead of a whole lot of other players. That is a hard hero to get. But I get what you mean by low tier, and we'll get into that because you're using a bunch of 4 stars in here and some 3 stars, which is just real smart play. But I do want to just be somewhat sympathetic to the viewers who are not necessarily in the same frame of reference as to this being a low tier Titan team. I guess a better way to say it is it's a low tier Titan teams for a top 50 alliance.
Yeah.
So you're obviously rolling with the big dogs, and my understanding from you is you're usually one of the top 2 or 3 hitters on Titans in your alliance. So let's go in and look at your low tier. I say that with a little bit of a chuckle, and we'll start with the ice team because everybody loves their ice team. Everybody likes killing the fire dragons or the fire titans. So we're looking at Mickey, Frida, Isarnia, Kirill, and Jot.
Yeah, that one's my favorite team. That one, if I go ahead and use tornadoes and stuff, because I feel tornadoes is an extremely huge help. If you're using tornadoes, you need to be getting badass hits every time. So I'll try to, I made plenty of videos on every color Titan, but how to do Titan hits without tornadoes, without the big items. and still get good scores. But when you use items, that makes it extremely more beneficial. But yeah, Mickey is a go-to for a majority of my teams with that plus 120% attack. And then you could also have attack boost that stacks on top of that is real ridiculous.
Mhm.
But Frida for the elemental or the elemental down, which is huge. And then Asarni I got with 20 emblems. Got her non-costume, so she goes with the negative 44 defense that stacks on top of the elemental down, which is massive.
Mhm.
And then Kuro has the attack boost that stacks on top of Mickey's effect. And then Jot has it where the tiles have the attack boost, I think plus 65 or 64 or something huge. And once you get all those rollings and all those equipped together, it's pretty easy to do a 100K shot with that team.
Oh yeah. And actually right now we're just going to take a quick pause and we're going to look at a massive hit from you with your ice team. So let me roll that video right now.
All right.
Okay, so that video just ran. That was stellar, 170K single hit. And that was
Yeah.
no baby Titan.
No, that actually almost broke my record. My record, I believe, is 174K, and
Nice.
that's without any Hunter Lodge items.
Mhm.
But I'm trying to break 200K with no Hunter Lodge items before I use the scrolls to see what my actual record can be.
Sure.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah,
open
I
to
think
it?
you said, what's that?
I was gonna say, are you open to a suggestion to boost that up more?
What you got?
So looking at your team, I would pull Kirill off and I would put any ice hero you have that has an enormous attack number and then get rid of the time stops at the bottom and throw in one of the attack banners, either a bear banner, a dragon banner, or a titan banner. Now, if you want to stay true to the forge level, you can go with the dragon banner, but you're going to get actually more attack up or the same attack up, I think, with a dragon as you do with Kirill. But the drop that you have in that attack number, like I use Magni and I have the costume bonus and I have him maxed for attack because he's like 900 and some attack. You just want a huge attack number after you do all that. But I would imagine that if you throw an attack banner in there, either the bear or dragon or titan, and get rid of Krill and put a high attack number, I think you'd see a significant difference.
Yeah, and also I forgot who it was, but I watched every single one of your previous interviews, and the guy that was talking about the crit troop, I didn't have the crit troop in that one either. So if I threw that on Mickey and all the ones that did get the critical point, I probably could have beat 200K on that hit right there.
Yeah, you just need the one crit because it's randomly selected, but you're being wise with the ninja troops. We didn't really talk about that, but the ninja troops can boost the attack much quicker than any of the others. My ice team now, I have four of the ninja troops up to 15 which gives the 28% attack, which is massive. But
yeah, and on that same note with the Ninja Troops, just for the free to play and cheap to play players, I would suggest using all your epic troop tokens during the Ninja event.
yep.
And the cool thing about that, if you are cheap to play or don't pay any money, is that if you level up a Ninja Troop to level 2, it only takes 5 2-star trainers or 5 2-star deals to bring them to level 2, and that's the same equivalent as a level 23 mana troop, which is huge especially if you're cheap to play.
Yep, those Ninja Troops definitely have a purpose, so you're smart using them. But if you can, on your next Fire Titan, I'd be curious if you pop Kirill out of there and put somebody in with just a high attack number in one of those attack banners. I'd be curious to see how you do with that.
Yeah, I'll give it a try for sure. Because that one you said, send me a video of a Titan, and that Titan that happened to come up was red. So I did that like day of 5 minutes after you asked, and I did a big old score. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was awesome. It was an awesome video. All right, so now we're looking at your team for slaying Holy Titans. So you have your 4 Dark Heroes with Mickey, of course, and Cheshire Cat, Dr. Moreau, Kiona, and Jabberwock.
All right. Yeah, I got that one set up from left to right with the Mickey with the same way with that plus 120 attack boost. And then Cheshire Cat, I went ahead and leveled that one up maybe like a year ago, but I was using Tiburtus before that. But Cheshire Cat has that higher defense down, so I went ahead and maxed her out. And then I got Kiona in that spot for the plus 45 attack boost that she gives to her outskirts. And that's where I got Dr. Maru and Jabba, because they're my both highest tactile damage.
Sure.
And they're both pretty high in like the 800s, upper 800s.
And I'm guessing you have felt the pain of many of trying to chase Guardian Panther and not being successful.
Yeah, well, yes and no. I haven't really chased that much in that event, but even Guardian Gazelle would be nice in that event. I think the last time I kind of chased and threw a lot of pulls in, I got Guardian Al, and I wasn't happy because he's just going to stay there.
Yep. Well, it's funny. I chased Guardian Panther hard, like really hard. I spent a ton, and I did not get her. And then the next event, I pulled 2. I was like, I'm not chasing, and I pulled 2 of her. It's like this game is so frustrating. Yeah, but like that'll never happen again, right? But it's like when you put all that money into it and you chase, it's like it can be a real downer, and then things just pop up sometimes. So it's pretty bizarre how it works. But yeah, that's
exactly how it got Finley.
But yeah, for all of you out there who are having Cheshire Cat and not realizing what you have, read that card. It is worth the defense down on the Holy Titans. Do you have not do you have, actually, I was going to say tomorrow should be Tell Talk again, so maybe you'll get Panther tomorrow.
Yeah, I might try a little bit of pulls, but I just went heavy on the last season 3. I think I did a total of 153 pulls. So my gems are down, and I had all the stuff saved up for doing token pulls, but I might crack out a 30, but I don't think I'm going to do a 90 or anything crazy.
Yep. Yeah, I'm only missing Owl and Gazelle, and I don't, like you said, I could care less about Owl, just from a completion standpoint. So I'd like to collect, I'd like to have Owl just to have Owl, but Gazelle is the only one that I would really max. But challenge events are not worth chasing heroes. Like they have some really great heroes, but that's a money pit waiting to happen. So jumping over to your Dark Titan slaying team, we got your Holies here, and we do have a Tell Talk hero here. You got your Guardian Jackal with the White Rabbit, Norns, Uraeus, and of course Mickey.
That one I changed up here recently, and I'll tell you why too. The Mickey is standard with what Mickey does. Everybody, you want to use him over Woo or anything like that. I think this one sometimes using Woo because you got mono yellow, so it works out good. But the misses I can't stand. I haven't used Woo in so long because those misses are terrible. But Guardian Jackal gives me my elemental down because I do not got Costume Leonidas. White Rabbit gives the regular defense down. I'm sorry, Jackal was elemental. Norns is big hitter. I got her at 20 emblems. I think she's like 880 or something like that. She's way up there in attack stats. And then before Uraeus, I actually used Inari, which I can't stand Inari, but she has her high attack stats on her. So I was using her. But then once I put in Uraeus to try to test it out, for some reason I noticed that the minions seem to hit quicker now than they maybe used to. I don't know if that's just my mind playing it, because always in my head I was like, don't bring minions to a Titan because it slows you down. But each minion hit from Uraeus did 50 damage against a Titan. So if you got 3 of them on each of your 4 heroes, that's 150 times 4. That's 600 damage just every time you move the tile. So that adds up. And that could be, in one match, that could be 10,000 points just from it, just from the time slot going. So I put him in, and he has a high attack stat as well. So that's why I threw him into this mix when I used to have Inari.
All right, nice. I want to come back to Inari in a minute, but back to the Wu and Ranveer, and just a month or 2 ago, I put up a video on them because they are frustrating to see the miss, but their added attack and their boost is actually to special Zen tiles. Mickey is just tiles. The math comes out pretty similar. The frustration is not. So you have that guaranteed effect with Mickey, which and I get that a lot of players are not comfortable with that, the miss rate, or any, the Danza Burrows, or even Maligna, or anybody who has this randomness. I know some players get jumpy around that. But depending on who you have, and Mickey is hard to get, I still wouldn't throw out Wukong or Ranveer if you have them. They're still viable. So I'm gonna sidestep the conversation on Titan for a minute, just because I want to pick up on something you said about you can't stand Inari. I'm actually, as of today, I was thinking about maxing Inari. She's been on my roster forever, and I never used her. What do you not like about Inari?
No, there's so many things. I got multi videos of me trashing Inari. She's probably the hero that I hate the most out of the whole game. That might just be me. But it seemed like every time I used her, I wouldn't get the dodge, and she's average on top of that, so I would have to give her one of my good mana troops. And then whenever I did actually get the dodge, all it did was give me mana. And then like a slash attack from any other enemies would kill that minion. So it was like pointless to even have the minion. So she's like so close to being like the costume Caitlyn kind of deal, which then she would be awesome. But costume Caitlyn's fast, Inari's average. And then on top of that, she has the miss rate and everything's probably the same. But what was I getting at? The fast speed and the attack that she has. Right. Inari doesn't do no attack. So you can dispel her stuff, and then she absolutely does nothing.
Interesting. So I was just talking to another 7 Days family member today who loves Inari, especially combined with Drake Fung, because you have the inaccuracy combined with the dodge. So there's more of a chance that specials just aren't hitting you. But yeah, it's funny how certain heroes just work with our personalities and our play styles, and other ones just go through us.
Yep.
All right, so jumping over to your fire team here for attacking the Nature Titans, which is always one of the more challenging Titans for people to get. We're looking at Mickey again, and Wilbur, Guardian Falcon, Asterius, and Aslar costume again.
Yeah, the Green Titans are my worst by far. This one here, I usually don't bring in time stops or tornadoes on. I use the banners, the bear banners, and the 500 HP health pods, and then just fire up Wilbur right away if I don't have a stun, and then have that damage go over time. Usually I can take maybe 5 to 6 hits before I can actually need to use the health pods to get everybody up and rolling again. But how I usually do all these teams, as far as how I play it, I always use the mana pod that gives you the 60%, and then 2 minors. I use that on Mickey, plus the elemental down and the defense down, before I make any matches of my color at all, whether it's a stun attack or anything. Once I make my first match, I fire all them up from the get-go, instead of waiting, making 3 matches and then getting my specials up. That's 9 tiles that I just maybe could have scored 20,000 extra points on. So, but that one there, I got the Wilbur for that effect, the Guardian Jackal for the elemental down that would stack on it. The Asterius stacks on top of both of them. So I got 3 different defense downs going right now.
Sure.
Until I use Aslar, and then Aslar cancels it out. But that damage is massive from his burn and everything. That's like 600 something damage just from the burn plus his initial hit.
Now, are you careful with not resetting Asterius because he has an increasing defense down?
Yeah, him, I never use the mana pods on. So usually by the time I make 3 more matches of my color to get him ignited again, his stuff's done wear off already.
Right.
But yeah, his stuff adds 10% every turn. I think for 3 turns, I want to say. It might be 4 though.
Yep. Players out there, make sure you read the full card, even in the last sentence where it says that it increases. Because if you reset it, it'll just reset. It's the same thing with, and I think we're going to come up and talk about Costume Brienne in a minute, but Athena and Costume Brienne, they're the 2 strongest defense down heroes in the game because they have this multiplying, increasing rate of defense down. But if you keep firing them, you just keep reset it. And I get asked that often. I have Athena on my ice team, and people will be like, "Oh yeah, you went through all this hits on the Titan, you never fired Athena again." I was like, "No, in an ideal world, I fire her once. You don't want to reset her." And that brings us actually to your green team, which is where it's going to be relevant to talk about the similar logic with Costume Brienne. Come on, a 3-star hero on a 14-star Titan killing team. This can't work. I get that all the time too. So you have Tarlac, Costume Brienne, Almer, Gregorian, and Frigg.
Yeah, this one is one, like you just said, where you have to be careful with. I do bring Tarlac in on this one because he gives the 100% instead of the 120% attack boost, but making it all mono green and his attack stat being so high that it comes more relevant than Mickey, in my opinion. You just got to watch out for that the specials aren't silenced. So
right.
That's why I'm bringing those time stops to make sure that they don't fire off on me. But yeah, Costume Brand, I used to use Buddy, and he had the minions that slowed you down, and he the attack stats basically the same, but the defense down is better from Costume Brand. And if you do get hit, that even gets higher and higher. And it's more so than your regular negative 34% defense down. And then Almer, I got in another 4-star, but I do not have Eve or Evelyn. And that's the elemental down there. Gregorian is probably overlooked by a lot of people, but that plus 30% crit is amazing, especially if you're not hitting the weak point because you can't hit it every time. That comes in handy for a big, huge hit. And then Frigg is my most tile damage with like 880 or something like that. But if I do Frigg, I usually don't fire her special until Brienne's effect is gone. Or I got Brienne ready to fire up, and then I do Frigg followed by Brienne, and then do my tile damage.
Yep, I was going to ask you about that because it's a dangerous game to have Frigg after Brienne, because Brienne, if she gets max, is at a negative 65% defense down, which is massive. So you have Gregorian not paired up with a crit troop. You have a?
Oh, I didn't notice that. I don't got one leveled. If I do have one, it's like a level 2.
Yeah, I'm not saying you have a 3-star troop on this team, so you must not have another 4-star. And again, no critique because I know how expensive it is to level troops to anything. And I've been curious. I don't have Gregorian, and I have always been curious to see a Titan video where like a Gregorian, or some people use 3-star Malia who has also the crit boost. I would be curious to see a video where that has been a substantial number. So if you have one of those, I'd love to see it. Because we do get the crit, we get a guaranteed crit on a Titan on the weak spot, and the 2 end columns, they can never crit because they don't actually hit the Titan. So of the 5 columns that exist, 1 is already guaranteed. So we're already at a 20% guaranteed crit. So I'm always curious to see a video where that is making differences. So I might have to go snoop through. I assume you have some videos up on your channel.
Yeah, I got some of the doing my green team here. And then I don't got it pulled up. The level 23-star, that one don't have no crit on it on their stat base.
I'm not as familiar with the 3-star troop. So there is a 3-star troop that gives critical damage. So that might have some crit on it.
I know that was the attack. Yeah, attack, health, defense. I want to say the other one's crit, but I would have to double check. I don't got it pulled up right now.
Yeah, no, that might be, and that's my oversight because I just always avoid 3-star troops because they make me nuts. Because there's 3 different kinds of them, and I always go back and forth. I never know which way to go level. But you got them at level 20, so they're pretty. Level 20's max for a 3-star. So.
Yeah, that was my first one. That was actually my last 4-star troop that I got back when I was cheap to play and free to play. So I had plenty of time to make that one go all the way up to level 20 before I finally got a 4-star troop. That's why that one's so high. That's my only level 21. The same thing with my red. I got 1 to 14 because it took me so long to get my red troop. But purple troop was my very first one, and I got that was my very first 4-star troop period. That's why I have 2 at 29 because I've invested from the 4-star from the gate.
Mm-hmm. So how are these teams working for you? Like, what's your strategy when you're going into the big Titans with the Mythic Titans?
My Mythic Titan strategy is the first 3 hits I use the big items on, and I got a team with. My second 3 hits, I use the big items on and got like a secondary team. I might bring in carry over the Mickey because I only got 1 Mickey. Carry over them for a secondary team. And then my last 6 hits, I use the lower items on. I take out the Hurricanes, I take out the Scrolls, I take out the big, whatever you get from the deals where the Alliance can purchase. I take out those banners and bring back in the Dranger banner. And then I still bring the Tornadoes, and I bring mana pods for those last little hits because everything else is starting to get in the negative down and all that stuff.
All right, excellent. So everything we've been talking about today, from raid tournaments through war and Titan hits, please check out the Budman69 Empires and Puzzles on YouTube. He has his own channel up. Show him some love on the YouTube, and you can see him in action there. And as a final question, we got to ask, because I'm sure it's on everybody's mind, what's the history and story behind the beard?
Oh, the beard I've had for ever since that. Whenever I was working with Budweiser, they used to have it where there was no beards allowed, so I just had the goatee going only. And then maybe 5 years back or something, they allowed the beard, but it was like a 1 inch or 2 inch rule. So once I finally left them, then I started growing it out, and I haven't cut it, shaved it since. I just make sure it's maintained.
Yeah, I keep this one trim, but the back is down my back, so
yeah.
I think I'm a bit longer than that, but on the backside.
Exactly. So, yep.
Well, the Budman69, it was a real pleasure getting to talk to you. I appreciate you being open and sharing your teams. I think you definitely given viewers something to think about with the 4-1 setup, and it's definitely a nice alternative to everybody fighting over 3-2 versus mono. And let's be honest, everybody, all 3 of them suck if you don't have a good board.
100%.
Awesome. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Welcome to another Empires and Puzzles Books Attack Revenge video. I was sent a video of an attack on me by the Budman69. He has his own YouTube channel. If you've not checked him out, please check him out. He is another great producer of EMP content. So, as you can see, he's last active now online. Typically, you can't revenge somebody when they're online. However, he is global rank 13 and over 3,000 cups, which means he should be fair game, and I should be able to attack him. So let's jump in and see what we want to do here. What's his troops like? 29 all around, decent troops. Double darks at 29. He has put some time into his troops. All right. So, the reverse formation, which I just despise. I think I'm going to go with my 9-tile team. However, sorry, Hatter, you're going to get the boot for Francine. Let's see if we get our 9 tiles. Well, that's at least 6. Oh boy. And there's not many other matches. I don't want to be making my nature matches. Not giving me a whole lot of options. Alright, let's see if we can sneak one up the center. Almost there. Alright, let's switch sides here for a minute. Jeez. There we go. There we go. Alright, I'm actually going to attack over here since Frigg will not be as effective when I get rid of these green tiles. Alright. I look forward to seeing your video of the Budman, and we'll get you up on as an attack revenge video. Thanks for the fight.